Hello and welcome Disney Infiniteers. This is James from iHeartInfinity.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the brand new Disney Infinity 3.0 character, Ant-Man. Now please keep in mind that some people do consider his special ability to be a potential spoiler for the upcoming Captain America Civil War movie. So if you don't want even the smallest of spoilers, you should wait until after that movie has come out to watch this video. So let's go ahead and begin by talking about the background of Ant-Man. Now there are actually several versions of the Ant-Man character, from Hank Pym to Eric O'Grady to Cassie Lang, but the one we're most interested in is the second Ant-Man, Scott Lang, who was also the Ant-Man in the movie of the same name. Scott Lang was first introduced in the comics in 1979 in the Avengers number 181. Now, he's had plenty of adventures since then, but he never really took off as a character until more recently. He was in Hank Pym's shadow. But now, of course, he has starred in his own major motion picture and is the more famous version of Ant-Man, so we'll expect to see a lot more stories with him, and also his current comic series is fantastic, so check that out if you are at all interested in comics. And now let's talk a little about compatibility. Ant-Man is a Disney Infinity 3.0 character, which means he only works in 3.0. You can't use him in 1.0 or 2.0. However, he does have a cameo in 2.0 as a power disc. And in 3.0, you can use him in the Marvel Battlegrounds playset. You just can't use him in the Star Wars playsets or the Inside Out one. You can, of course, also use him in the Toy Box, as well as the Toy Box games Speedway and Takeover. At the time I'm recording this, he doesn't have any toy boxes dedicated specifically to him, but given the popularity of the character, I fully expect that this will change over time. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about his gameplay. And let's get this one out of the way right up front. There have been tons of questions regarding whether or not you can control Ant-Man in his shrunken form, and the answer is unfortunately no. He shrinks down only as part of attacks, and as soon as the attacks are done, he is back up to normal size. Now, on the flip side, using his special ability will turn him into Giant Man, and you do get temporary control of him. You can walk around, choose who you're attacking, and so on. But it's only for a handful of seconds at most. So if you are looking for a character whose size you actively control, unfortunately this is not the one. But you shouldn't let that deter you, because he is actually a lot of fun to play with. He's fast, he's got some great combos, his finishing move is pretty solid, and of course you can control his Giant Man form. He doesn't hit very hard, but you're going to get a lot of attacks in. You can dodge out of the way pretty easily. So he is a little bit more of a technical character. You're not going to just kind of walk in and destroy everybody that you see. But with a little bit of practice, you'll get in, you'll do a lot of damage, and you won't take damage in return, which is very nice. And now, as you just saw, he does also have the super jump ability, and like Judy Hopps from Zootopia, his actually levels up 3 times. I don't think it's still quite as high a jump as Judy's, but it's pretty darn high nonetheless. So there's a good amount of variety to his gameplay. You can get in close, hit him with some combos, and dash away if you want. You can use him for platforming. And you can also use his force push ability to knock enemies out of your way. But let's show you the one you've wanted to see, Giant Man. And he is just going to slug everyone. He only has 2 attacks in Giant Man form, one where he swings his arm, and one where he stomps. Technically they're both AoE attacks, but the crowd clearer is really the stomp attack, which is holding down the primary attack button. And it's here that his damage comes into play. You're really going to want to put points into his special attack so that you can charge it up quickly, last longer as Giant Man, and do more damage with his attacks. Plus his second attack, the Stomp, has to be unlocked, and it's pretty far into the tree, so you're not going to get that right away. But as you can see, I've put some points into it, and I'm pretty much able to access this ability pretty easily. I can stay as Giant Man for a good amount of time, and these bad guys just have no idea what's hitting them. It's one of those special abilities where you're not really guaranteed damage, but if you use it right, you can clear a room very easily. So what it all really boils down to is he's a surprisingly versatile character who's a good amount of fun to play with. So whether or not you like the movie, whether or not you like the character, he is enjoyable in Disney Infinity 3.0. He's fun to play with in Battlegrounds. He's fun to play with in toy boxes. I'm hoping that we get some more play sets for him to play with in the future. Maybe not until 4.0, but it'd be nice to get, say, like a Doctor Strange set when that movie comes out later this year. So if you're on the fence with this character, you know, you can certainly wait for a sale, but I don't think you have to. He's more fun than he really has any right to be, and he has enough variety in his skill trees that you can really choose to play him a number of different ways, so there's a good chance that you will find a skill tree that works for your play style. And we'll talk more about the skill trees at the end of this video, but you know, the basics are you've got your close quarter combat one, which is just the melee attacks. You've got his ranged attack, which is actually his dash, which we're showing right here, which leads into a melee combo. However, you can use it to get in, do some damage, and jump out pretty easily. And then, of course, there's his special tree, where you can just turn into Giant Man, like so, and power it up so that you almost always have access to it. You can charge it up really fast with the special meter, and last a long time in this mode. So if you really want to just wander around stomping all the enemies, that's perfectly viable playstyle, which is good to know because since it is a special move, that's not always the case. And also, like I mentioned previously, he has his super jump, which can be leveled up 3 times, which makes him a good choice for playing platforming levels. And you can certainly find plenty of those in the community content section of Disney Infinity 3.0. And I have to admit, I was really worried about this character when they first announced him because I wasn't sure what they could do with him, and he's also not one of my favorite comic or movie characters, although Paul Rudd did do a fantastic job with him in the movie. And the Disney Infinity team proved that they were able to translate him into an entertaining character, despite the fact that most of the draw of the movie was in the gags and the comedy aspect rather than the superheroics. So really, it is without any hesitation that I absolutely recommend checking out this character if you have even the slightest interest in him. And if you love the movie, there's no reason not to get him at all. Alright, we're going to round this out with just taking a look at his skill trees real fast. Now, his first skill tree is health and defense, and it's pretty bog standard. However, he does have a regenerating shield, which is pretty cool. The rest of his abilities, standard stuff. This is his special tree, the gigantic tree. This is, of course, where his special attack is. There's all fairly normal stuff. Increase the duration, increase the damage, increase how quickly it powers up, how many charges you have, and then there's this, of course, which is giving him his stomp attack, and you can see how far into the tree it is. Now we have his close range attack. This also unlocks his combo finisher as well as his push move, which can be powered up a little bit, but you're really not going to see much damage out of it. It's more to get you out of a bad situation. He's got some combo attacks, the usual predictive abilities, and also the ability to dodge an attack, which is nice. And then lastly, his dash, which is where his super jump is also at, and also the wall crawl ability, which is kind of interesting. Was not actually expecting that. And now you can see he's got super jumper, extraordinary strength, tech specialist, and wall crawler as his special abilities. And that's going to wrap up our Ant-Man video. I hope you enjoyed the review and found it useful, and I hope you go out and check out the character if you're at all interested in him. Also, go to your comic shop and pick up the comic. You won't regret it. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.